My wife passed on a Tuesday. By Friday, my children had gone back to their lives, their jobs, their families, their routines. And I sat in a house that had been full for 43 years and understood for the first time what it meant to be truly alone. Not abandoned, not unloved, just alone, in the way that only you can be alone when the structure of your life disappears overnight. That Tuesday changed everything I thought I knew about support. I'm 83 years old, and I want to say something that might be uncomfortable to hear. After 60, after 70, after 80, the people you love cannot be your primary support system. Not because they don't love you, they do. Not because they're selfish, most of them aren't, but because life is relentless. Your children have their own pressures, their own grief, their own limitations. Your friends are aging too, dealing with their own losses, their own health, their own fears. And the brutal truth is this: if you build your sense of security entirely on other people, you are building on ground that shifts. I learned this not from a book. I learned it sitting in that quiet house on a Friday afternoon in October, watching my son's car pull out of the driveway. He had to go, I understood that, but I also understood in that moment that I needed something that didn't leave when the car pulled away. I needed pillars, things inside my own life, inside my own self, that held me up regardless of who was present or absent. Over the next 3 years, I found 7 of them, and today I want to share every one. Stay with me through all 7, because pillar number 5 is the one nobody talks about, and it's the one that saved me most. Before I get to pillar number 2, I want to tell you something that a grief counselor told me about 6 months after my wife passed. She said something that initially made me angry, and then, over time, made more sense than almost anything else I'd heard. I'll share exactly what she said in about 4 minutes, but first, let me tell you what the first pillar is and why most people overlook it entirely. The first pillar is a physical routine that belongs only to you. Not a fitness program, not a goal, just a daily physical rhythm that your body can count on, that gets you upright, moving, and outside before the day has a chance to close in on you. For me, it was walking, 20 minutes every morning, same route, same time, rain or shine. I started it 3 weeks after my wife passed because I couldn't sleep and didn't know what else to do with myself at 6 in the morning. I didn't start it for my health. I started it because I needed somewhere to put myself. But here's what I discovered. That walk became the spine of my day. Everything else organized itself around it. And on the mornings when grief was heaviest, when I woke up and reached for her and remembered, getting up and walking didn't fix the grief, but it moved me through it, literally and figuratively. My friend Bernard lost his wife 2 years before I lost mine. He told me the first thing his doctor said to him was, "Bernard, I don't care what you do, but get outside and move your body every single day, even if it's just to the end of the driveway and back. Do not let yourself become stationary." Bernard said it was the most inadequate advice he'd ever received. 6 months later, he told me it was the most important. Your body is the one thing that's with you every moment of every day. Build your routine around it first. The second pillar is financial clarity. I don't mean wealth. I mean knowing with complete honesty and no avoidance exactly where you stand financially, what you have, what you need, what your realistic options are. This is a pillar that most people over 60 actively avoid because the numbers can be frightening, because looking directly at your financial reality means confronting your own mortality and your own limitations in a way that's deeply uncomfortable. But here's what I know. Uncertainty is always more frightening than reality. The thing you're not looking at grows in the dark. The moment you turn the light on, even if what you see isn't perfect, you can make a plan. And a plan, even an imperfect one, is solid ground. After my wife passed, I discovered that she had handled most of our financial details for decades. I was not ignorant, but I was dependent in ways that I hadn't fully recognized. It took me almost a year to untangle everything and understand exactly where I stood. That year of uncertainty was harder than it needed to be because I avoided looking directly at things I should have understood earlier. Get a clear picture of your finances. Sit with an advisor if you need to. Write the numbers down. Face them. Because financial clarity is not just about money. It's about knowing that you can take care of yourself. And that knowledge is foundational to everything else. Now, I promised you what the grief counselor told me. Here it is, exactly as she said it. She said, the goal after a major loss is not to rebuild what you had, it's to build something you've never had before, a life that is entirely, unapologetically yours. That sentence made me angry at first. It felt like a betrayal of my wife, of everything we'd built together. But over time, I understood what she meant, and it connects directly to the next 3 pillars, because they're all about building something new, not replacing what's gone, but creating what was never there before. The 3rd pillar is a social structure that you maintain actively, but that you don't depend on emotionally for your survival. There's a crucial difference between having people in your life and needing people in your life to feel okay. The first is healthy, the second is fragile. I have 6 people I see or talk to regularly: a neighbor, 2 men from my church, a former colleague, my fishing friend Carl, and my daughter, who calls every Sunday. I value each of those relationships genuinely, but I have worked hard, and it has been work, to make sure that my sense of well-being doesn't rise and fall based on whether any one of them shows up. Because they will sometimes not show up. They'll get sick, they'll move, they'll have their own crises, and if your emotional stability depends on their consistency, you will be perpetually at the mercy of things you cannot control. Build your social life like a garden. Tend it, enjoy it, value it, but don't make it the only thing standing between you and the ground. The 4th pillar is a spiritual or philosophical foundation, something larger than yourself that gives the difficult parts of life a frame. I'm not going to tell you what that should look like for you. For me, it's faith. For others, it's philosophy, or nature, or art, or simply a set of deeply held values about how to live. But here's what I know. The people who age with the most grace, who face loss and limitation and uncertainty without being destroyed by it, almost universally have something like this: a framework, a way of making meaning out of hard things. Without it, every difficulty is just random, just bad luck, just the universe being indifferent, and that's a very cold place to live. My friend Walter, not a religious man at all, found his framework in Stoic philosophy in his late 60s, started reading Marcus Aurelius after his heart surgery, told me it was the first time in his life he had language for what he already believed about endurance and acceptance. I didn't find new beliefs, I found the words for the ones I already had. Find your framework, name it, lean on it. It will hold you when nothing else can.
5th pillar, the one nobody talks about,
the one that saved me. A sense of usefulness. Not productivity, not staying busy, not filling your hours so you don't have to think. Usefulness. The genuine sense that something in the world is better because you exist in it. This is, I believe, the deepest human need after basic survival. Deeper than comfort, deeper than companionship. We need to matter, to contribute, to have our presence make a difference to something or someone outside ourselves. And here's what happens to so many people after 60, after 70, especially after loss or retirement or the children leaving. That sense of usefulness quietly disappears. The roles that gave them purpose, provider, parent, professional, fall away, and nobody tells them what comes next. I watched my neighbor, Frank, go through this after he retired at 68. He was a vital, engaged man, and within 2 years of retirement, he had shrunk. Not physically, but his world had contracted. He watched more television. He complained more. He seemed somehow smaller than the man I'd known. I asked him once what he missed most about working. He didn't hesitate. He said, "Feeling like I was needed." That's it. That's the thing. After my wife passed, I found my usefulness in 2 places. First, in mentoring a young man at my church who had grown up without a father, just showing up, listening, occasionally offering what I'd learned. Second, in writing. Nothing published, just writing down what I'd learned and experienced in case it was useful to someone someday. Neither of these made me busy, but both of them made me necessary. And that feeling, that quiet, grounded sense of being needed, held me up through the hardest years of my life. Find your usefulness. It doesn't have to be grand. It just has to be real. The 6th pillar is continued learning. Keeping your mind genuinely engaged with something new. Not to prove anything, not to stay sharp for its own sake, but because curiosity is one of the most reliable sources of forward momentum available to us at any age. When you're curious about something, when you're in the middle of learning, of figuring out, of understanding something you didn't understand yesterday, you have a reason to get to tomorrow. A small one, but real. I learned basic woodworking at 78, not because I needed furniture, because I'd always wanted to and kept postponing it. The first project was terrible. The second was slightly less terrible. By the 5th, I'd made something I was genuinely proud of. More importantly, I'd given my mind somewhere to live that wasn't grief or worry or the past. Pick one thing, learn it slowly, stay curious about it, let it pull you forward. The 7th pillar is the hardest one and the most necessary. Acceptance. Not resignation, not giving up, not pretending things are fine when they aren't. Acceptance is the honest, clear-eyed acknowledgement of what is, without the additional suffering that comes from wishing it were otherwise. My wife is gone. That is the hardest sentence I have ever had to make peace with. And I have not made peace with it completely. I'm not sure that's possible, but I have accepted it. Meaning, I no longer spend my energy fighting the reality of it. I no longer wake up expecting her to be there and then experiencing her absence as a fresh wound every morning. The grief is still there. It always will be. But acceptance means the grief has a place to sit. It doesn't run the whole house anymore. This pillar takes longer than any of the others. You cannot rush it, but you can work toward it through the other 6 pillars, through time, through honesty with yourself about what is and what isn't. And when you get there, even partially, you will find a kind of peace that doesn't depend on circumstances, that doesn't require things to be different than they are. That is the most reliable support of all. Here is your one action for today. Look at these 7 pillars. Be honest with yourself about which ones are solid in your life right now. and which ones are thin or missing entirely. Pick the one that's weakest, just one, and do one small thing today to strengthen it. One walk, one honest look at a bank statement, one phone call to someone you've been meaning to reach, one paragraph written down, one thing learned. You are not building a new life overnight. You are laying one stone at a time. But the stones add up, and what you build on them, slowly, honestly, one ordinary day at a time, is something that holds. I want to ask you something before you go. Which of these 7 pillars feels most solid in your life right now? And which one do you know, honestly, needs the most work? Leave it in the comments, not because I have all the answers, but because naming it out loud is often the first step towards doing something about it. And next time, I want to talk about something most people discover too late after 60. The difference between a life that is comfortable and a life that is meaningful. Those two things are not the same, and choosing between them might be the most important decision you make in your final decades. I'll see you then.